I'm waiting for a moment frozen in time just so I can feel again. It's like I'm waiting on a time bomb ready to blow my world into pieces.
With it. So
Sweet.
today I'm here with Paul Bartolome. How are you today?
Yep. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, doing the best that I can in lockdown and all that.
Yeah, when we spoke last time, was it lockdown last time as well? I think it was.
I think it was just before lockdown in October.
Yeah, it's all blended into one. It's all blended, and we're still in. I'm meant to be going on tour with Danny Warsnop next month, and now I'm not. So, it's great.
So first of all, I want to congratulate you on your latest release, Time Bomb. I absolutely love it. I can't stop listening to it. How has the reception been for it?
Yeah, the reception's been great actually. Probably the best I've had. Yeah, I mean, they're responding to it great. They really like the lyrics. They're saying it's the best lyrics I've done. I've had a lot of great feedback on my voice on the track, saying it's the best it sounded. And we spent a lot of time with it. I truly believe my voice probably sounds the best on this new music because I went and did my last album with Matt Good, Screaming for the Radio, in America. But Matt Good, I love him, and I'm going to go back to him at some point. But he's expensive, he is. So we did the whole album in 10 days vocally. So I literally got to America after a long ass flight from the UK and just went straight in the studio, recorded every big chorus, and then went all the verses. And the album's quite high, so my voice was shot on that album, but I had to finish it because we had X amount of thousands down on the line. So I finished it, but there's some parts where I can hear where my voice is strained, and suddenly being in like a different climate, like having it suddenly really hot when in the UK it never is like it really affects your voice, dries it up. And also having the aircon on all night right next to your voice, it dries you up. So I love the album, love Matt, can't wait to go back and do something with Matt soon. But yeah, it definitely was a toll on my voice doing it that quick. And yeah, this album I've taken my time with. I've even gone back and with Time Bomb, just before I got the last mix, I sent over a brand new vocal to just chuck in, which is a bit in the last chorus where it goes up in as a variation. So we added some stuff, but yeah, it's been a great reception. People are loving the song. It's a bit of a new vibe for me with it's more of a band feel, and that's basically, it's a good indication of what the album sounds like really for this one. It's the last album was great because it had all the mixed songs. So it had like Burning Skies, which was a pop song, and then it had like Not Okay, which was like a punk rock song or whatever. And it was cool, but that's more like a compilation to me of what I can do. So if we get an offer for a pop tour, we'll do Burning Skies, Devils, and then Selfish, and it's brilliant for that. But then with this album, this is like my sound and me as an artist, and it follows on from Criminal as well. That fits in well. So yeah, this is definitely a new vibe, a band feel, and yeah, it's been a great reception. So I just gave like a fucking 5-minute answer to the first question, so it's gonna be a long interview. I won't say that much on everything, but yeah,
it's cool,
well, there we go.
So as you mentioned, not literally in the last question, we last spoke in October, I believe, and you had just released your latest single at the time, Criminal. Yes. But since then, we've been through one tiny lockdown in November, and we're very, very slowly coming out of this one here in the UK. And recently the government announced that there are set dates of restrictions being lifted. The 17th of May, I believe, being the date where we're able to go and open music venues, but with a limited capacity. From a musician's point of view, do you think this is going to happen, or do you think it's completely off the board for this year?
All my tours got cancelled, so I hope not, because I hope other musicians get to do stuff. I don't have anything booked as far as live until that is something I probably can't say, but I'll say I have something booked. I'll be announcing soon. I have something really big booked in the States, which is nuts, and I'm excited. So if that's all I do this year, I'll be happy. But yeah, that'll be announced soon. I think next month. But Yeah, I mean, I was meant to be on tour with Danny Warsnop next month, which was a fucking dream tour come true. That has been cancelled, and I believe from I spoke to Danny a little bit not that long ago, and I think it will still happen. It will just be rescheduled probably next year though, or whenever he's got time. But whenever he's got time, from what it sounds like, I'm still on it. So I'll make sure of that, because that would have been so sick. And then we had a Dead Girls Academy tour that got cancelled altogether, I think. So I hope so. I'm just not going to say, because I think the smaller lockdown we did in like when was it, November or whatever, I was like, oh, this tour's going ahead. I mean, I knew about this tour since October, and I was like, this tour's going to go ahead, get this lockdown out of the way, back to normal. And then look at us, we're like getting into 2021 and everything's the fucking same. So I don't know. I do hope so though. I hope people can get back out and live music can come back. But when I announced this thing, and it's in the States, it's my first ever show in the States, it's epic. So that is something to look forward to. And I can definitely get away with it because it will be down as business. So I can still go do it. But I don't know what the flights are like if it's not business, but I know if it's a business trip, you can do it. So just like we have a video shoot April 9th up in Liverpool. And we have to do all this crazy like paperwork just to stay in the hotel. So so we got the label sending me like this paperwork, and the director sending me paperwork just to show, so I can fucking stay in a hotel. And so, I mean, I'm still getting away. I'm getting a couple of days away with the lads, which is cool. A lot of people don't get to do that, especially now. So luckily we are shooting a music video as well. And we got an album photo shoot on that day, and we got a mini we got some reshoots for some documentary stuff, some touch-up shoots. So it's a busy 3 days. We're fitting a year's worth of work of content into 3 days, but it's worth it. So we'll get a couple of days away with the lads. So I do hope so though, that venues will definitely open.
I mean, I guess it gives you something to look forward to, because not a lot of people really have that anymore, because I mean, so much has been taken away from people, like with the lockdowns, and obviously you're not able to go out and tour, and probably the same for other musicians and other industries. So it's something to look forward to, and hopefully, everything, well, it will go ahead, because if it's on a business basis, then
the video shoot's definitely going ahead, and the thing at the end of the year is going ahead. So like you said, we're quite lucky in the fact that a lot of people aren't going away at all, and we are. So I mean, that's what I keep saying to the lads in the band, and that's the only thing getting us through this lockdown, is that we have something to look forward to. So it's good.
So do you think that obviously once you are able to go back on tour, and whether it be with social distancing restrictions or with no capacity at all, and we're able to return back to gigs wearing no masks and all that sort of stuff, do you think that it'll be completely different to the way that it was before? Because you've got things like meet and greets, and you've normally got I can say, when I met like Motionless and White a year ago, the first thing I did was obviously went up to them, asked if I could have a hug, and we hugged. So it's kind of like, do you feel there's going to be a border there when you get back to actually playing shows because of COVID?
Yeah, I think it's going to be weird. When COVID first came around, we were actually on tour, and I remember it going around, and every city we hit, there was this talk of COVID, and we were laughing about it. We were like, it's just everyone's got over the top and that. And after every show, we had people coming up and hugging us and then going, let's get a picture and autograph, and it was great. And then I'm surprised we didn't get it, to be fair. So I think it will definitely be weird, and it will be a bit different to start with, because I think people will be a bit nervous to I think they'll be a bit apprehensive to do that kind of contact, and just, I don't know, it's a weird one. It depends how they run it, really. I mean, they might just have fucking like 10 people in a venue, so I don't know. I mean, there might be just be one. We might be playing on stage, might be one geezer at a bar just sat watching us, and it'll end up being like my shows before I had a fan base. So I mean, it'll be. We really don't know. We'll see. I mean, hopefully we'll get this tour with Danny going, and then we'll see from there, or any other tour that comes our way. But I don't think I'll be booking an actual tour until next year, maybe end of this year. But just to be safe, I think it's too it's too soon, because then you're just looking at, it could get cancelled, and yeah, it's. I hope it goes back, but I do think there'll be some people that are quite apprehensive to do the full shebang of, oh, let's go straight up and do meet and greets and this. I think there'll be definitely some borders put in place and some rules. So we'll see.
So obviously we might have possibly touched upon this like back in the very first lockdown when I first interviewed you over email. God, that seems so long ago. It's nearly a year now.
Damn it, I forgot about that as well. Yeah, we did do that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, God, it feels like years ago.
Yeah.
Have you been able to keep in contact with your fans? Obviously through social media and, just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first lockdown was a bit tricky because we just released an album, my first album on a label, and we were pushing it. And I'm very much like, my DMs are open for fan messages. As soon as I get some time, normally at night when I finish working, I'll hit them back and give them a reply. I'll always make sure to reply or comment back, and whether I'm in the studio or working in here, and yeah, I always make sure to reply. So I've definitely been in touch with them and definitely kept in contact and kept promoting, and got Patreon as well. We were doing some fun videos on Patreon. We were doing carpool karaoke's. We were doing some fun challenges, some acoustic versions, some other fun videos, playthroughs. So I've still got that going. So I've got some content coming behind the scenes, and so I've definitely kept in contact and made sure to keep letting them know that I'm still here. That's why when this Danny tour got cancelled, it was like, right, we need to start releasing this next album, because I mean, Criminal was meant to come out this Halloween, not last Halloween, and this album wasn't even going to be written. We weren't planning on doing an album, so that would have been like next year or the year after. And then obviously lockdown happened. I started writing, it just came about, and as soon as the Danny tour we were playing with the idea of releasing it and starting to get it out there. But as soon as Danny's tour got cancelled, and so did the other one with Dead Girls, it was like, well, we have nothing now for this year, so let's start putting out the fucking album. So then when this shit's over, we can then just go tour both albums, because I've still not toured Screaming Through the Radio either. We played some songs on the Call-In tour last year at the beginning of the year, but I haven't actually toured it where people know the songs. So we have 2 albums to promote and fucking tour, so that's the aim.
It's going to be one hell of a tour.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a long set.
Okay, so let's leave the COVID questions behind, because I know how exhausting it can be to talk about it. Let's talk about your new release. So like I said earlier, I can't stop listening to it, and I mean, I just can't stop listening to music in general. Like, I'm really digging it. I'm loving it. Last time we spoke, you just released Criminal with Danny Warsnoff. Time Bomb, which features Kellen Quinn. Also Johnny Craig, who I believe was a former lead vocalist of Dance Gavin Dance, and many more musicians. Now, these people that I personally have grown up with, looking up to, and who have like heavily influenced me. Have you found that that's the same for you? Have you grown up with these bands, these musicians? Have they affected your life in any way?
Yeah, so I've worked with nearly everyone in this kind of what would you call it? I don't know, the scene kind of music, I guess. I've worked with everyone in this kind of music. Danny was a big influence. I mean, Danny Warsnoff's a big influence on how I sing and write anyway, how I tackle vocals and write melodies. He's a big influence, especially their later stuff. So I've always listened to him though, from quite a while ago. So Danny was definitely an influence. Craig Mabbitt from Escape the Fate, who was on my first album, he was a big influence. Telly from The Word Alive. So a lot of them really are big influences. And then some of them were just like, when we started getting quite a few features that were the main ones I wanted, like the big influences on me, some of them were just like, oh, that would be fucking sick. If we're going to do an album where we have loads of features, let's just get, X, Y, and Z. So some of them weren't influences, but they're great people. And I actually, after getting them on, I actually started listening to them, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking sick. So yeah, Monty from Escape the Fate and now Beyond Unbroken, Monty Money, he was a big influence on me playing guitar and solos. So getting to work with him, and then also fly out to his house in California and do some backing vocals for his Beyond Unbroken album and co-write stuff for him, and he did a solo for me. So that was a fun week at his house, really, just chilling. So yeah, it's a lot of people are influences, and I've definitely worked with most of my influences now, and some who aren't, but have become either good friends or I now listen to them because I work with them. So yeah.
Okay, so this is just, a fun question. So you said that obviously your vocals were influenced by Danny. Obviously Askin's probably later music and possibly solo career. Which sort of Askin do you prefer, like the earlier music or their newer music?
You're asking the controversial question. Well, first of all, shout out, when you talk about Danny's solo stuff, shout out to Danny Wilson. He's just dropped a new song called Love You More. So everyone go stream that. Great song. I got to hear it first before everyone. So be jealous. No, it's awesome. And as soon as he sent it to me, I knew it was a banger. So he's heard my record. So yeah. So shout out to Danny for that. And I can't wait to actually be on tour with him and see him play that song and the rest of his album live. It's going to be sick. But personally, for me, I prefer the later stuff because I'm more of you can tell by my music, I'm more of a pop rock, arena rock guy. Yeah. I mean, Time Bomb is a good example. It's hard radio rock. That's, some people don't like that, but I mean, I think what happened with Askin is obviously they started with a completely different sound and they've now evolved into what they are now. With me, I don't really have that. I always was a arena rock, radio rock sound. That's what I liked doing. So yeah, for me, definitely their later stuff. I love their later stuff. And yeah, I mean, goes without saying, when I did my Scream for the Radio album, Matt Good, who produced their latest album, showed me some of the songs off it, and straight away I was like, yeah, I love this. So yeah, I'm definitely more of a newer Askin guy, and yeah, I love his solo stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, you can hear Criminal sounds like it almost could have been on their latest album, like maybe a little bit heavier. It's got the hard rock elements and the big radio rock vocals and chorus. And I thought some people would either love or hate that song. We had I don't think we had one negative reaction from that yet that I've heard. Where I thought the chorus with the catchy bit, like the "You're a criminal, you're a criminal," that bit, I thought people would be like, that's fucking stupid. That's really annoying. You know, like one of those songs you hear, but you go away and you keep hearing that part. And I sent it to Danny from Hollywood Undead. Spoke to him quite a few times. I also sent him Time Bomb, and he loved Criminal. And he also messaged me after I sent him Time Bomb saying that he listened with his daughter and they both had like goosebumps and they loved Time Bomb. So yeah, it's definitely that more mainstream radio rock, but we've definitely pushed the boundaries on this album, I will say. It's a good indication. The little heavy bit in the middle, there's a lot more of that on the record, and I know some people are going to be like, oh, what a cop out, he did it for about 10 seconds and went to a solo. Yes, I did that, and that's because I wanted to do that. So we actually have a 3-month radio campaign in America for mainstream radio going on right now for it, that started today, which is nuts. So now I know people will be like, oh, you wrote it for radio. I was like, no, because I didn't think I'd ever get on radio. So I didn't write it. I wrote it for me. And I just thought it'd be a nice, fun part for live. But there's a song that's getting mixed currently that we'll be playing in a set list that has a nice big middle bit that if you like the heavy bit in Time Bomb, you're going to fucking love this part, because it is probably the biggest, heaviest instrumentally and vocally kind of thing I've done. So there's a lot of heavy parts in the album, there's a lot of soft parts, and there's a lot of big vocals. So it's a band feel. It's definitely leaning more towards hard rock, this album, than the last part, which is funny because it's the one going to radio. But it's definitely more hard rock, and we've pushed the limits because I guess we're edgy. We're going edgy on this album. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I guess that's the cool thing, that you can, be like diverse, if you know what I mean. So like go from producing like radio songs to something heavier, and that's just the one thing I love, because you can sort of play around with your sound a bit And it kind of gives you more of a chance to explore, you know, different sounds and what you think suits you like the best.
And I had an absolute blast doing Scream for the Radio, and I love my favorite song is Burning Skies off that album, and that's the pop one, that's the straight summer pop song. But I've still got the poppy elements on this album that people like from me, but it's the more the vocals than the instrumental. There's no like straight summer. People might get annoyed, some people might be glad. There's no full-on summer like radio pop song. There's a song that is almost like a part two to my song Devils in the Details, which was a pop song. It's almost part two, similar style, really catchy, and the same like sound kind of and vibe, but it's a rock song. So even all of the poppy elements all still flow on the album with the rock stuff, and nothing sounds out of place. It's not like a sudden, oh shit, we're on a pop song now. It's like, oh shit, this sounds like the same album. And whenever you hear this album, you'll know. So there's definitely poppy elements on it, but it's still, I'd class this whole album as hard rock, arena rock, I guess. So yeah.
How was the process of recording the song Time Bomb? Considering we're currently in lockdown, was it something that you had recorded prior to being in lockdown? So, you know, back in December or before even the lockdown before that, we've been in so many, I can't keep up.
I can't keep up. I know we did the Criminal music video, and we just come out of lockdown right for Criminal, because it was very up and down, and it was like Danny the day before he came was like, dude, I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to fly in or get home. And it was like, fuck, we've paid all this money and it's not gonna happen. And we managed to do it. We stayed out of lockdown for a bit. It was good. And then I booked me and my band to go away to this. I just rented this giant, like, it's like this giant cottage almost in the middle of nowhere, like literally the middle of nowhere, hours away from us, just in the countryside. There was nothing but hills, cows, and that's it, trees. That was it. There was literally just this awesome place, which is in the documentary. And we shot a documentary, and we went there for quite some time, and I literally took my whole band with me. So this album is the first album my band actually plays on the record. So we've got a quick rundown is my brother David Bartolome, who's on obviously the tours. He's drumming. He wrote all the drums, and then he's co-produced the album with me as well. My guitarist Ryan Thompson, who's also on the tours, and then my bassist Jamie Streeter, who he's in all the videos and he'll be in the pictures and shit, but he doesn't come on tour because he'd never be able to get the time off work, but he's part of it as well. So we all just basically just fucked off to this big house and took a load of drink with us and food, and we just stayed there for quite some time. And I already had the songs written, and then I was like, right, we set up an instrumental room where Ryan, Jay and David basically stayed, and they just recorded all the instruments and shit and wrote all their parts or whatever. And then I had the vocal room and lead guitars, and so I'm still the only songwriter. Like, all the songs are written by me and mainly produced by me, and lead guitars and vocals. But this is the first album where the rhythm guitars are actually recorded by my rhythm guitarist Ryan, and bass and drums. So it's a really cool vibe. But we got back from that trip with, what was it, 15 songs done, and it was a track list, and then half that track list is gone. So there's a few songs that I wrote this one in the lockdown after that, I think, and it was just a case of me emailing it and being like, right, I laid a scratch guitar down of the rhythm, and I was like, Ryan, record this. Brought Jay up because he lives here with me, so brought him up. He did the bass, and then sent it to my brother, who did the drums and co-produced it. So it was a very interesting song. It's the very last song I have for the album. I wrote for the album, and it came very last minute. The instrumental was there, but I didn't know I was going to use it until I wrote all the vocals and the lyrics and the melodies, and it was very last minute. So yeah, it was a bit weird. A lot of emailing, a lot of FaceTiming, but we got there in the end, and now it's the main single. So
you were talking about how you went away to this sort of cottage in the middle of nowhere. Did this like have an impact on you at all? You know, just like being out there in the open, you know?
Yeah, there's a song on the album that I found this place, I rented it, and then the week before I kept looking at these pictures because it looks so cool, and I was like, you'll see it in a documentary. It's honestly wicked. There's like this ginormous, like almost like a runway patio with like all glass windows, and we set up the main vocal bit in there, and it looks out the fields. It looks insane with the lights and that, and you'll see it in the documentary. And the first song we did was this one I wrote a week before we went. A song called, can I say that? A song called While We're Still Young. It's on the album. I think I've said it before in another interview. A song called While We're Still Young, or Young, whatever it'll be one of them. And we call it the festival song because it's super different from anything I've done before, but it sounds like a festival song. Big gang vocal post-chorus, huge drivey like chorus to it, and the verses, and it just sounds like you should be up on stage at like Reading headlining playing it, or Download, and just a really great festival song. And because we're in the countryside, when we got there, it was super sunny. It was about 2 o'clock we got there, or 1 o'clock. We just set up the studio and we're like, that's the first song we're doing. Looking out at the hills, we got the drinks going, let's just bang the chorus of that. And we were all just dancing around the studio, and it was sunny out, so we were looking at the hills just singing this song, and it actually fit perfectly because we're like, fucking hell, this is like the perfect vibe for this place. So whenever I think about the place we went away to, out of all the songs, that one just always reminds me of that place. And we'll have like there'll be a little montage of that song and some little edits in the documentary as well that I've done. So it definitely fits the vibe. It's a good one. So yes, it did definitely impact and have an effect on some of the songs for sure.
Okay, so you were talking about obviously that song being a festival song. What festival, if you could choose a festival anywhere, like, you know, in England or in America, or, you know, just anywhere. I'm losing my words.
Yeah.
Where would you play? You know, there's so many that you could choose, but which one would you play?
There's one I'd say, but I'd get in trouble because it might be the thing at the end of the year.
Oh.
So in the States, so I won't say it. I can't get in trouble for that. I've not said anything. I've just said it might be a festival at the end of the year that's getting announced. That's all I'm saying. Might be getting announced real soon in April. So I would say that one because it will be fucking epic. But if I could do any other one, I don't know. Download, obviously. Yeah. Reading, although Reading's turning into a bit of a mainstream thing, I think it's more like rappers. I don't know if it's rappers, but I think it's a bit more pop than rock now. But the first thing I thought was like when we did this song was fucking Glastonbury or Reading, like a proper awesome festival that they're playing to. But I'll say Reading or Glastonbury or Download, but I won't say what other festival in America that I'd love to play that I'm getting a chance to possibly play but might not be playing end of the year. So there we go.
So let's talk more about the new album. So
yes.
Are you now able to give us a name? Have you got a scheduled date for it to be released? You know, any songs you can talk about?
I can not do much, but I can say certainly some stuff. The album has a release date. That will be coming. I can say that will probably be coming with the next single, like the pre-orders, the track list, everything like that. So the album release date is coming real soon, merch, all that shit. So I can't say the exact date, but it's definitely this year. So 2021, full album's coming out. So it's not like we drop a single now and it comes out next year. It's coming this year, as well as more singles, a music video, of course. And then, so track list. It's a good track list. The way I can talk about it is it's the most personal album. Every song has a meaning, and you'll see by the titles. Actually, I think you'll get an idea when you look at the song titles that this is a personal album. So it's a very personal album to me. All the lyrics have meaning, like I said. Every song goes hard. There's, like I said in a radio interview the other day, there's almost like an oh shit moment in every song. Like when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's fucking awesome, like that kind of thing. Like the festival song, Young, or whatever it turns out, While We're Still Young. There's a bit in the last chorus where there's a little stop, big only vocals come in, big harmonies, and everyone who has heard it have gone, oh shit, that's sick. So every song I've made sure has a bit like that. Time Bomb was well, the chorus itself, but the heavy part in the middle was almost time bomb. Everyone loved that bit. So that was that bit. But choruses, I mean, time bomb is up there with probably one of my top 3 favorite choruses on the album. Everyone's saying it's my best chorus yet. So if it's in my top 3, I'm not going to say where in my top 3, but it's not number 1. There's some big choruses on there, but I love the song. So yeah, it's definitely something to be excited about. What else can I say? It's like I said, bit of a darker record, this one. Definitely a rock record. And then you'll still hear parts of my pop sound just blended into the rock. So it's not like a sudden change. And there is, like I said, The Devil's in the Details Part 2. It's not officially called that, but it is basically, as soon as you hear the guitar on the intro, as soon as you hear the brass is in there, there's an acoustic intro, which is fucking sick. But then it's a rock song, and the chorus is bigger, and the whole song's just more upbeat, more energetic, and bigger. And what can I say? Well, I'm filming a music video for it next month. That's all I'll say. So it might be the second single, it might not be, but perfect in time for summer, right? To drop The Devil's in the Details Part 2. So everyone's gonna love that one. I can't say much more, but that's a good indication of the album. So I've given you some little bits like what's to come. And this album name, look at the next music video when it drops. Look around at the setting, some of the stuff we use. There's some clues to what the album name is in the video, and you'll kind of get an idea. It directly revolves around the album name in some parts. So, and it will also have parts of the artwork for that single in the video as well. So we're going full out with this one. It's gonna be super cool. I can tell you kind of the vibe. We had a couple album names that was floating around for about probably 2 days ago, each one, because I hated them in the end. But they made the most sense, but I just didn't like it. Like, one of them was Dear Diary, the other one was Journal, and there was another one. I can't remember the other one. So, like I said, it's a very personal album, and this is pretty much like my journal, this album. Like, this is through lockdown, through other things that have happened through lockdown. And yeah, this is like my journal. So the album name is a lot better than that. I'm excited about it, and there's loads we can do with it. So it's definitely going to be cool.
As you said that it's sort of like based around, your journal and things that have happened, throughout the lockdown, do you feel as though it's been therapeutic to be able to write these songs and sort of get it out onto pen and paper and put it into something that's productive and that people may themselves relate with?
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, all the songs, they just kind of kept flowing through lockdown. So yeah, it definitely did help. Especially Time Bomb. Time Bomb really helped. We're going to be going into not loads of detail, but we'll be saying what the song's about when we film some touch-up shots for the documentary. It'll be in the documentary, but also be released earlier. But we're not going to be saying like full detail, but we're going to put it in the documentary because everyone who's sent an interview or always has the question of what's the song about. So rather than us having to keep going over everything, so it'll just be like, that'd be the worst. It's a really personal song, so I don't want to keep going over it. Yeah. So we'll put a little clip out that kind of says what the song's about, and then that's out there and they'll know. So, but it definitely did help. That one was probably the most helpful song for me with dealing through something and coming to terms with it and all that kind of stuff. So that was definitely a very helpful song. And a lot of the other songs on the album were, when I wrote them, I felt a lot better after. And listening back, you kind of realize, like, because lockdown's been just a massive mindfuck, really. It's been constant. Like, when we say when we went away, like, I don't even know when we went away now. Can't remember when the video with Danny was. Like, it's everything blends into one. So listening back to the songs give me a good indication of what was going on then and where I am now. So yeah, it definitely did help.
So how was it with the process of like creating the music video as well, like actually filming? Because I know that you mentioned that there's a lot of paperwork to fill out, but with having other people in the music video, do you all have to take COVID tests? Does social distancing still have to apply?
Yeah, so it is a lot. I mean, I actually had COVID when I found out that I was isolating because I had COVID, and I found out the day we were going to radio with Time Bomb. So we started planning that release, and so I had my vaccine 29 days after I had COVID. So I've got my second one in May, but I can't take a test because you can't have a test within something like 90 days.
Yeah.
So I can't have a test because I'll just show positive anyway. But the other boys will have a test. The band, we're having a band out into the test center, so that'll be fun. I think I've had about fucking 20 of them, so I'm glad I don't have to have another one. The crew will all have tests, and there's a dancer in the video. She'll have a test. So everyone on board will have a test, but there is social distancing. We do wear masks. Me and the boys we don't need to social distance from each other that much because we know where we've been.
Yeah.
So it's more like we yeah. I mean, I live with one of them, so and the other two haven't gone out, so it's just like fine. But the way we're shooting this video anyway, not because of COVID, but we're doing it very different this one. We're not doing like the typical band setup like we have every other video. It's going to be super different. So people might look at it and be like, oh, they've only done that because of COVID. It isn't. We just wanted something different. We could have done it as a band, but this way is going to be pretty cool, bit artsy and experimental, and yeah, all that fun shit. So it definitely is a challenge, more for the paperwork and staying in a hotel up in Liverpool and proving it is like covered by the label and a business trip, because it is a business trip. So yeah, so there's definitely challenges, but not for the video itself, more for the hotel is basically the biggest challenge we face, and it's pretty much sorted now, so it's all good.
Okay, so that is pretty much everything that I've got. Have you got any final messages that you want to add on? Anything important you feel that I might have possibly missed?
I think we covered everything. I mean, apart from keep going and streaming Time Bomb. I was gonna say Criminal. I was fucking still living back in the last movie. Well, stream Criminal as well, featuring Danny Wilson. Go stream Time Bomb featuring Kelly and Quinn. We want to make this one as big as possible. We've got loads of shit on the way. Like I said, I'm finishing this documentary. We're filming this music video. We've got loads of other cool content. The Patreon's going. I'm on social media everywhere. Going to be doing some fun acoustic videos. Big announcement for possibly a show that might be a festival, that might not be a festival coming up. You don't know. And then some more shit. So we've got some fun stuff coming. Lots on the way. This is just the start. So, and then what else? Oh yeah, we might have an acoustic version of Time Bomb with Kellen on as well. So
Ooh.
don't know if I should have said that. I've said it now. I mean, I don't think my manager's going to sit through to the end of me talking. So we'll see. I'll get a message if not, but he might be sick of me talking. So, but that might be coming as well. So that is, I know some people know about that. So, and Danny Warsnop's guitarist, if there is a version, might have done the guitars for it. So, we'll see. But yeah.